Shabbat Shalom again. In Anita Diamond's book, Living a Jewish Life, she outlines what she perceives to be the three different functions of the synagogue. The first was the synagogue as the Beit Knesset, a house of gathering, a place to make lifelong friends, whether that's teenagers eating pizza together, just think of our Habsty Lounge upstairs, or bringing non-perishable goods for the food pantry, as are on the corner of Dewborn and Bathurst. The next is the synagogue as a Beit Midrash, the house of study and of stories. Look at our libraries and our classrooms, our teachers and students, and it's not hard to see that learning is what we do here at Holy Blossom Temple and is a form of worship in and of itself, which leads us to the final function of a synagogue as a Beit Tefillah, a house of prayer, where one can sing and remember, praise and contemplate, and sit in sorrow, in joy, and in the pursuit of that most precious gift of peace. Diamond subsequently highlights that Jews attend and join synagogues for a multitude of reasons: human contact, spiritual fulfillment, intellectual stimulation, what have you. Put differently, in belonging to a synagogue, they're not simply looking for a place to go. They're searching for a spiritual and communal home. Yes, a sense of rootedness in place when it comes to worship is important in our tradition. There's a reason that that our parasha this Shabbat Naso opens so close to place, describing in detail various materials of the Mishkan that each tribe was delegated to carry along the wilderness wanderings, from the planks to the bars to the sockets to the lampposts to the cloths to the most fun one, the dolphin skin coverings. Solomon's temple in the Book of Kings then describes the recessed and latticed windows, the walls protecting the outside, the hewn stone, the planks of cedar, the gold overlay, all of these small but critical details in establishing a bayit, a house built for God. And take a look around our very own Mishkan, with its light, modern wooden design surrounding us, the comfortable chairs that you're sitting in, the intricate, colorful parochet behind me, the carefully crafted glass ner tamid above us, each element carefully chosen to make a statement about who we are as a congregation and who we wish to be. To that point, though, we might now ask ourselves, if Diamond is right and we're looking beyond place on the horizon towards a home, what does home comprise of? Parashat Naso, for starters, describes in detail the role of the Nazir. This is a person who chooses to set themselves aside and devote themselves to the service of God by refraining from drinking wine or even having anything to do with grapes. They can't even eat fresh grapes, from contact with corpses, from even having a razor touch their head throughout the term of their vow. These sacred volunteers, in the words of Rabbi David Nelson, accept Kedusha, holiness, upon themselves, and are a valuable model in our own age for enhancing sacredness within our spaces and within our relationships, everything that makes a house a home. Returning to our author, Anita Diamond, she will, in a further chapter of her book, describe a Jewish home built on values. She talks of beauty, for home is a holy place, and as our ancestors with the Mishkan, with Solomon's temple, and in our own Mishkan at Holy Blossom, that comes with the connotation of certain aesthetic considerations. We could, after all, be perfectly content making kiddush over a paper cup, but instead we use special goblets crafted specifically for that reason. We don't just conceal our chalot with a serviette, but at home and at shul, we use an embroidered cover. We affix mezuzot to the doorposts of our home. We display and we light our Chanukiot. We use our grandmother's favorite Seder plate at Pesach. These are indeed markers of identity, the Beit Knesset, which Diamond wrote about, because this term, Beit Knesset, nowadays also refers to that physical structure of the synagogue. Equally, the signs and symbols are markers of the next value that Diamond addresses, hospitality, setting the tone for the environment that visitors will walk into. No home, no sanctuary is built without the consideration of the deeply Jewish value of Hachnasat Orchim, the welcoming of guests, most famously tracing its origins back to Abraham and Sarah, who would leave their tents open on all four sides so that guests would know they were always welcome. Abraham and Sarah's hospitality could even have been a life-saving act, providing refuge among the harshness of the desert through food, water, and a safe place to rest. In our time, whether as institutions or individuals, it is our obligation to ensure that we always make room for one more guest at the Seder table, at the Shabbat table, for newcomers to town, to college student, and tonight to those completing their IJL program. And we wish you Mazel Tov and welcome in every sense of the word. This is the Beit HaMidrash, in which we all learn from and with one another. Diamond also talks of Shalom Bayit. Traditionally thought of as peace in the home, this is not intended, she is clear, to reinforce gender stereotypes or to call for solemnity. Indeed, quite the opposite. It is a call that, when we enter our holy spaces, the ones we call our homes, that we should show respect to one another, partake in Jewish rituals that ground us as immediate and broader communal families, foster intergenerational relationships, seek help when the health of the home is at stake, and perhaps of paramount importance, to be able to laugh and play and be silly together. Shalom Bayit, therefore, does not just refer to a peaceful home, but a whole home. More about that in a second. This is our Beit Tefillah, in which we realize that home is made up of people and purpose, and in which we express our innermost selves and our innermost hopes and dreams. On that note, Parashat Naso includes the famous words of the priestly benediction, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you, and so on, which seeks God's blessing upon the people of graciousness and shalom. I leave this intentionally untranslated, because as we may know, and as Rabbi Matt Friedman points out in Prophetic Voices, Renewing and Reimagining Haftarah, that Hebrew root, shin, lamed, mem, equally means wholeness or completeness. Therefore, my hope for this Shabbat is as follows. May you find peace here. May you find your people here. May you find your home here. And may you feel complete here. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.